So the Packers early in the season get off to this hot start, and we get this influx of Packers fans who are coming in and enjoying the show, and it feels like you're right about to be on the verge of a breakout, and then they start losing.
AKA.
All right. And then later on, they're on this playoff push here, and right when they're about to, take over the wild card spots and really become serious contenders potentially, you lose to the Bucs, and you lose to the Giants and Tommy DeVito. And it's just like, what's the deal with this Green Bay team? And I'm looking at what's happening in New Orleans this week, where they sacked Tommy DeVito 7 times. He was sacked 15 times in his other 2 games, and Green Bay couldn't get after him a single time on that Monday Night Football game. Jordan Love played well. He's 29 for 39, 284 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jordan Love had a good game. The offense, even though they only put up 20, for the most part played good football. This defense has just been getting destroyed time and time again. And Baker Mayfield was 400 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, but that's why I took him to the NFC Southpaw. I said Baker Mayfield's turning back the clock, going back to his 2019 ways. Was that the year 2019 to beat the Steelers? Somewhere around there. But the lone bright spot here for Green Bay, I was thinking we didn't want to lose, but it's the fact that Jordan Love looked pretty decent and played a good game, and he wasn't the reason that Green Bay lost this game. But from the team as a whole, from this standpoint, I said this last week on our reaction show, you beat Kansas City, big win. You go on the road to MetLife, and it's a bit of a hangover spot, young quarterback, whatever, okay, but now you want to come home when you're in a playoff race, and you want to bounce back. That's super important. Even Houston today, without Stroud off a tough loss, they bounced back and found a way on the road to win the game. Teams like this, they want to bounce back. You're at home and you lose by double digits. I mean, that really was terrible. I mean, Baker looked like Tom Brady today.
If you watch this game, there were only 2 outcomes for a given Buccaneers set of downs. Either the Packers got a sack or the Buccaneers got a first down. That just happened every single set. And you can't play like that, because even though the Packers, they did get a few sacks, they did better than they did against the Giants. If you are consistently giving up first downs every time the team doesn't make a play, you're done. I know the secondary's hurt. I know they had a couple guys out. But David Moore should not be carving up any NFL secondary. It just shouldn't happen.
I actually thought he might have been short. I know you can't call it back because it was too close, but I thought he might have been short on that touchdown when Green Bay stripped him at the goal line.
He might have been,
really
but that's
close.
not the point. That's just not. Even if they strip it there, they probably still lose the game.
Probably.
Because they couldn't stop Baker Mayfield.
I mean, these Bucs have had these offensive outbursts a few times this year. Like,
that's why I think they're scarier than New Orleans.
Yeah, like they went in and they not mauled, but put up a lot of points against Houston. They lost the game, but scored 37 points. Mm-hmm. Now today in Green Bay, and last week in Atlanta, high-scoring game, and they beat them there. Like, Baker's playing well.
No, he is playing well, and they have a lot of weapons, too, on that team.
Yeah.
When White's playing well, too, like, all of a sudden, that Buccaneers team, it's a matter of can they get some stops. That their passing defense is horrible. We know. We said that.
Like, with the way Jordan Love played today in a home game, in an important game, I would have thought Green Bay was going to win. And Baker comes in and plays 3 times better.
Well, Green Bay dropped from being in the wild card spot to 11th. They're behind Atlanta. They're behind Seattle at the moment. They're behind the Rams at the moment. We still have to see the outcomes of those games. All of the opportunities still out in front of them to get into the wild card spot, but you start looking ahead saying, okay, like they have to beat Carolina next week. You really have to go and beat the Panthers, who I guess are coming off a win, so maybe
there's no chance they win 2 in a row.
And then that big game, though, that New Year's Eve game against Minnesota, the one that I can't wait for, would be great to knock out the Packers ourselves. But that's the game really to circle. I think whoever wins that game will probably wind up being a wild card team. Although who knows with the way these wild card races, everyone's losing. No one is
so many
control.
There's so many good wild card race games on New Year's Eve. You got Dolphins, Ravens, Saint Bucks, Bengals, Chiefs, Packers, Vikings. Seems like every single team that's jostling for playoff position is going to be playing an important game that day. So that's going to be fun. So
would you guys say here, because I think Packers fans would be upset if we didn't talk about it, but Joe Barry, their defensive coordinator, has been, it's almost like Matt Canada at this point, where Steelers fans were chanting for Matt Canada to be gone. Packers fans want Joe Barry out of there. Does this feel to some degree like it could be the nail in the coffin on him? Like, he can't be coming back next season, right?
The thing about Joe Barry, I agree he's probably not coming back. And the thing is he's really insistent on running that Vic Fangio style defense, right? Where you've got a lot of cornerbacks, you play relatively soft, light coverage and count on your guys to make plays. It's not a bad defensive system, but we've seen it across the NFL this year. If you are going to run that system, you need consistently excellent secondary play. And the Packers don't have it. So your job as defensive coordinator when things aren't working is to find a way to fit the personnel you've got. Mm-hmm. And he just has not been able to do that. And it's not like the defense is playing okay, but not great. Every aspect, the run defense, the secondary, the quarterback sacks, none of it's come out well. I just don't understand how you could keep someone around like that. It doesn't make sense to fire him now, right? It's near the end of the season. You're not getting someone better. You're not installing a new system. But I fully expect that with the offense playing well and LaFleur having earned some credibility, Barry's gone.
Yeah, I think so too. And I'm just looking at the Packers' schedule recently, and you have seen how the offense has improved. Remember, again, the Chiefs game, everyone was saying they hadn't seen a team perform that well against the Chiefs defense all season. Like, that's just showing over the course of this year, Jordan Love has taken these steps forward, really working with an offense that has been pretty banged up. No Christian Watson again today. Finally got Aaron Jones back, who participated in a big way, at least on the opening drive there. I remember watching that thinking they're sure glad to have him back. But in the game, in a game like this, you just can't get lit up for 404 by Baker and with the playoffs on the line.
I mean, every time Baker watching this game, every time he was dropping back to throw the ball, I'm like, this is going to be caught. Like, someone's going to be wide open. And that was the case.
Every drive, you just knew they were going down the field and scoring.
Yeah, somebody was going to be wide open, yards after catch. It was horrendous.
Yeah, it's a tough spot for Packers fans who, again, a really weird season for Green Bay where you've just had this up and down play.
Like, you go and beat Kansas City as a 6-point dog at home, and you're like, wait a minute,
we have the Giants, the Bucs, the Panthers, the Vikings, and the Bears.
You're like, we're going to the playoffs.
You're saying we might win the division.
Yeah, well, I didn't say. You said that.
Well, no. Some people are at that
point.
They
just beaten the Lions. The Lions were starting to slip. Like, it looked, if not likely, possible.
And now here you are, the 11 seed in the NFC, still, to some degree controlling your destiny here.
But they could slip behind the Bears. Would it shock anyone if they finished last in the division, only one game down on Chicago? Or one game up, excuse me.
Yeah, probably not.
It's because they're a talented team. It's just a matter of showing up at the right time.